This is the story of a young man who discovered that real peace does not come from adding more to your life, but from learning to let go. His name was Arjun, and on the surface he had what many would envy. He was young, educated, employed, and had friends who cared for him. But when the night came, when he was left alone with himself, his mind would not leave him in peace. His head became a prison, every thought echoing louder than the last. No matter how much he achieved, no matter how many people admired his talents, he always felt he was falling behind in life. The more he tried to distract himself with music, with scrolling endlessly on his phone, with short-lived pleasures, the heavier his thoughts became. One evening after another sleepless night, he decided he needed an escape. He left the noise of the city behind and traveled toward the mountains. He thought that if he surrounded himself with silence, his mind would finally be still. But he soon realized that silence outside does not guarantee silence within. The mountains were beautiful, the rivers clear, the air pure, but his mind kept running in circles. He still worried about deadlines, about whether he was good enough, about whether he would ever feel truly happy. As he wandered through a small village near the mountains, he heard about an old man the villagers called the Master. They said he had once been powerful, wealthy, and respected, but he had given everything up and chosen a life of simplicity. Some said he was a sage, others said he was mad, but everyone agreed he lived with an unshakable calmness. Desperate, Arjun went to see him. When they met, the Master looked at him with eyes that seemed to see right through every layer of his anxiety. Arjun poured out his heart. He spoke of his sleepless nights, of his fear of failure, of his endless need for approval, of how he was drowning in his own thoughts.
Ow.
When he finished, the Master smiled gently and said, "Your suffering is not because of the world outside you. Your suffering is because you have made your mind your master instead of your servant." Arjun frowned. "But how do I stop it? How do I quiet my mind?" The Master leaned closer and said softly, "You do not need to control your mind. You need to empty it." The words sounded strange, almost impossible. How can a man empty his mind? Yet the Master told him to return the next morning, promising to show him. Arjun agreed, his curiosity stronger than his doubt. At sunrise, he returned. The Master handed him a clay pot and told him to go to the river and fill it with water, but with one condition: not a single drop should spill. Arjun thought it was a simple challenge. But as he dipped the pot into the river, water spilled over its edges. No matter how careful he was, drops slipped away. He tried again and again until frustration overtook him. He went back to the Master and said, "It's impossible. No matter how careful I am, some water always spills." The Master nodded knowingly. "Exactly, that pot is your mind. You keep filling it with knowledge, with ambitions, with worries, with comparisons, with fears. You believe that by filling it, you will find peace. But a pot that is always full cannot hold anything more, and a mind that is overflowing cannot find peace." Arjun looked down at the clay pot in silence. The Master continued, "The secret is not to fill your mind, but to empty it. Sit by the river. Let your thoughts come and let them go. Do not chase them. Do not fight them. Simply allow them to pass. Only then will you taste real stillness." At first, when Arjun sat by the river, the noise in his mind grew louder. Old failures resurfaced. Memories of heartbreak appeared. The fear of never being enough shouted inside him. He wanted to get up and walk away. But the Master's words echoed, "Do not chase, do not fight. Let them pass." Slowly, he began to watch his thoughts, like clouds passing through the sky. They came, they lingered, they drifted away. His breath became steady. The rush of the river no longer sounded chaotic, but soothing. For the first time in years, he felt something he had almost forgotten: peace. The thoughts didn't vanish completely, but they lost their power. They were no longer chains holding him down. They were just passing shadows. Hours slipped by without him noticing. He realized that he had not escaped his mind, but he had learned to stop being trapped by it. When Arjun returned to the city, the noise was still there. Deadlines still loomed, people still gossiped. Traffic still roared, screens still flashed with endless updates. But he was different. He no longer allowed every thought to control him. When worry arose, he let it pass. When fear whispered, he let it drift away. He had learned that peace was not about controlling life, but about emptying himself of what he could not hold. His friends noticed the change. He laughed more easily. He was present when they spoke, not lost in his head. He no longer needed to impress everyone. He no longer chased distractions. He discovered that when his mind was empty, his heart had space to feel, his body had space to rest, and his soul had space to breathe. This story carries a simple truth. A cluttered mind is a restless life. You do not need to add more to be happy. You need to let go. You need to empty your mind. Because only when you create space within yourself can you discover clarity, freedom, and true joy. And so I ask you now, is your pot too full? Are you drowning in thoughts that no longer serve you? Remember, peace is not found in controlling everything. Peace is found in letting go, one thought at a time. Empty your mind, and you may finally discover the calm you have been searching for.